If you've ever looked online for the best camera app for your Android phone, you've probably come across Google Camera, or GCam. GCam is popular because it takes the amazing Google Pixel camera app and ports it for use on other devices. And while it's true that the best camera app for your phone is usually the pre-installed app, GCam can often outperform your pre-installed camera for things like night shots, portrait mode, and even enable features like astro photography. So is your phone compatible with GCam? As far as compatibility goes, it's pretty simple. As long as your device supports the Camera 2 API and it's running Google services, which most phones released in the last few years do, you're all set. But how do you find the right GCam port to install for your phone? That's a bit more complicated. GCam is not an app you can just download from the Google Play Store. You have to find a reputable site, download the correct APK file, and possibly an XML file for your specific device, then install it. There are quite a few places to find GCam ports online, but my 3 favorite places to find everything you need to get GCam installed are XDA developers' Google Camera Port Hub, GCamator.com, and the third is the GCamator app. All 3 are linked in the description. I would start with the GCamator app since it's by far the easiest way to get GCam installed quickly, and it's so simple I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's just very self-explanatory. But if you run into any issues with the app, or simply don't want to install an app that just installs another app, then I would highly suggest XDA's Google Camera Port Hub, since it has a huge list of GCam ports and links to XDA discussion pages about each port. So there's a ton of information from other users that can help you get the most out of the app. Lastly, GCamator.com is another site which has fewer camera ports than XDA, but they have pretty thorough instructions on how to download and install the APK and XML files if you're looking for some more guidance on the installation process. Now you might be wondering, what's an XML file? It's a configuration file that essentially helps GCam run better for your specific phone model. They can fix bugs, prevent crashes, or enable additional features that might not work properly with only the GCam APK installed, assuming you install the proper version for your phone. I've installed GCam about a dozen times on different devices over the years, and sometimes it's been better than the stock camera app, and other times it's been so buggy that I just deleted it. Now I have a Poco F3 that I'd like to test with GCam, so let's jump into it. Looking at XDA's GCam hub, the Poco F3 is also listed as the Mi 11X or Redmi K40 Pro. So I'm going to go to the discussion page for the port, and after reading through the post, it seems like this is the best APK file, so I'll click the link which takes me to another site with another link to the actual APKs which are hosted on yet a third web page. I was familiar enough with the download site that hosts the actual APK to trust that I wasn't about to install some malware, but it's best to do some research before you download a file from any site that you don't have experience with. Time to install. I tap the downloaded GCam APK notification to install, and at this point you might need to grant permission to your web browser to install the APK. And once you do that, you can either proceed with the installation screen, or you might need to go to your download folder and try again. Once GCam is installed, go ahead and open the app and try it out to see if there are any bugs or other problems. If you don't find any issues and you're satisfied with the images from the app, you could just stop there. But if you do encounter glitches or crashes or just certain features that don't work properly, go ahead and install the correct XML file. I actually couldn't get this particular GCam version to install an XML file, so I downloaded a different GCam APK and was able to install the XML by going into the preferences in GCam, scrolling down to configs, saving a test XML file, then finally copying the downloaded XML file to the GCam configs folder using a File Explorer app. Once you restart GCam, you just tap in the black area around the shutter button and a prompt appears where you can pick the proper XML file to load. With so many different versions of GCam from different developers, you might have other ways to install XML files on your device, and XDA or Reddit are usually good resources to help you troubleshoot not only XML difficulties, but nearly anything with GCam. So, how well does GCam perform? The not very helpful answer is, it depends. The device hardware, device software, the version of GCam, whether or not you are using an XML file, and is that the correct XML file, these are all factors that affect the quality of the images, and I do mean images, since I've never had much luck shooting video with GCam. Here are some comparison shots from the Poco F3. There's not a ton of difference to me. The GCam shots tend to be on the cooler side generally. There's a significant crop on the front-facing camera, but basically I won't be keeping GCam on this phone. The stock camera app just does the job pretty well, with fewer bugs. And yes, both versions of GCam that I installed on this device crashed multiple times. Not so often that I would call it unusable, but definitely enough to be annoying. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. And if you want to see other compatibility videos, please give that subscribe button a tap. As always, if you have questions, just leave a comment below and I will answer it perfectly.